Okay, this might sound a little bold, but there is a really good chance you are dating wrong. And not because you're broken or bad, but because most of us were never shown a different way. I used to think that I was the problem, that maybe I just wasn't enough, or that I just kept picking the wrong guys, which was a small part of the equation. But the overarching truth is that it wasn't just who I was dating, it was how I was dating. I was dating before I even knew the foundation of who I was. And I know that sounds loaded, but really what I mean by that is that it was before I had a close connection with Jesus. The kind where you call him your friend and you actually trust what he says about you. And that lack of identity, it bled into everything. All that I was believing about myself was coming from the world. You know, that your worth comes from your body type, that dating is a game that you have to play hard to get in. It was not from God, and I dated in ways that reflected that. And the results were, well, you can imagine. If we haven't met yet, I am Amelia, and I empower women to date differently and to live with purpose for the Lord, especially if they are coming out of a breakup recently. And as we dive in, I want to invite you to reflect on this. Okay, what labels have you been believing about yourself, and where did they come from? But most importantly, probably, is who gave them to you? Let's unpack that today. It might sound a bit abstract, but your identity drives your dating choices. Because when your identity isn't rooted in God, your dating life will reflect that, okay? You will attract and pursue what the world says is valuable, like excitement and attention and validation, instead of what truly honors God as well as your precious heart. And I lived this. I played the dating game. I chased validation. I tried to fill this God-sized hole in my heart with romance, with love, with a guy. I didn't know who I was, so I didn't know what I was worthy of or what to value in a partner. Even with my husband, like before we gave our lives to Christ, we dated in so many wrong ways, like all the cycles that culture normalizes as the way. And it wasn't that anyone was bad per se, it was just that we were living apart from the Lord, so our moral compass, our why, was going to be exactly what you expect it to be, like all over the place. And really, it was just that our identities weren't anchored in God, and everything flowed from there. And I wish I could say that there was this moment where I sat down and realized how much my identity matters, but no, this is not something that I recognized at the time until years later. Now I can see how much it impacted me, and that is why I'm sharing it with you guys today, to hopefully meet you in that space that I was in, because labels matter so much more than we realize. And something that I have come to believe, which if you hear nothing else from this video, I hope you will just take away this: you can't just put a Bible verse on top of a deeply held lie that has been ingrained in you for years and expect it to stick and transform overnight. You have to go to the root, because if you believe labels that God never gave you, your dating life, your decisions, your confidence will reflect those lies. And sometimes those labels are subtle and they kind of sneak up on you. So for me in this season, God has been showing me how much fear and self-doubt that has crept in because I have chosen to believe things about myself that are not informed by Him. So I want to invite you to consider that when you start rooting your identity in God, in understanding who He says you are, your perspective on dating, relationships, and even your self-worth will deeply change. You'll be able to finally stop chasing this counterfeit version of love that the world is offering, and you will start to be able to recognize the green flags of a godly character. And that is when hope and peace can start to flood your heart and replace the second guessing. And this is where Jesus wants to be your anchor in the mess and in the confusion, because even if you have been operating from these lies about yourself for years, Jesus was and still is beside you the whole time. He is still speaking truth over you. He's still calling out those lies, and He is inviting you into the freedom from these chains of misinformed labels. Okay, so I want you to try to imagine Jesus sitting beside you the very day that you felt unseen or unworthy or stuck. He sees it and He reminds you that you are knit together perfectly, and He has good plans that haven't been ruined by your past, a purpose for you that has not been ruined by where you have been or what you have done. And when we are able to start believing His truths instead of the world's labels, everything changes, including how we pursue dating and love and companionship. I want to encourage you that you don't have to fix yourself before you start believing in Him. I used to think that this was the case, and then I realized I would be waiting forever. But that is the beauty of it, though. Like, He invites you into truth and purpose and identity right where you are. All you have to do is accept it. And if this resonates with you and you're ready to start untangling the lies from the truth, I have a new free workshop down below where we unpack 3 lies that are holding you back from God's best. I'll put the link in the description box. I would love to have you join me. So if you've ever wondered why on earth your dating patterns keep repeating, or maybe you have thought maybe I'm the problem, I want you to remember this key takeaway. It is not simply about who you are dating, it's about who you are in Christ, because that informs how you see your worth, how you see your value, and in turn, yes, at the end of the day, it will influence who and how you date. So if nothing else comes from this video, if you forget everything that we just talked about, I hope you will just ask yourself this: what labels have you been believing about yourself? Where did they come from, and who is telling them to you? Because Jesus is inviting you into deeper relationship with Him, and He is delighting in you, whether you can delight in yourself right now or not. Let me know down in the comments if God is showing you new truths about yourself that you maybe didn't see before. I would love to hear your journey, and I'm cheering you on, and I just hope that you remember that your worth isn't something that you have to earn. It is something that is already secure and found in Christ. See you guys soon.